And we're back. I finally put my peepers on the highly recommended Volume 1 of Stumptown, the case of the girl who took her shampoo but left her mini. Now, I have a hard time with crime stuff because I come from a long line of police people. My dad is a retired crime scene technician, my mom's a current crime scene technician, my stepdad is a detective, and my grandfather used to build ham radios and work on cars for a sheriff's office in Florida, so I have a hard time suspending some of my disbelief when it comes to crime stuff. Give me superheroes, perfect. Mutants, great. 100-year-old super soldier who was injected with serum, perfect. Unicorns, give me all of them. But 2 close-range shots and a bulletproof vest and all you have to show is some bruised ribs? Without further ado, let's talk comics. I have this dumb contrarian thing in my brain when somebody recommends something to me and says that I specifically will like it, I start to get a little suspicious. Why do you think I would like it? What about it reminded you of me? And what if I don't like it and then I have to come back to you and tell you that I didn't like it, and then you have that I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed tone in your voice, and listen, I was a young overachiever and I'm maladjusted to adulthood and I just can't handle that. So, you know, I was a little nervous to read Stumptown. But I do love a good old-fashioned detective story, and I would say that this is kind of one for sure. The main character is a bi-PI named Dex, named after the stimulant drug dextroamphetamine. So as a gal with a name that can be easily made fun of, like mine, I can relate to her. I can sympathize with her, but she was pretty easy to sympathize with on a larger level as well. She seems to give no shits, yet care about things very deeply, and I relate to that. She has a younger brother that appears to have Down syndrome, and she takes very good care of him, the best that she can, while she's out being a PI and also dealing with her great emotional baggage. She is a good PI, it seems like, but she is a bad gambler, and she has amassed a lot of debt with a casino. And that kind of kicks off this story. She can absolve her debt if she can find the missing granddaughter of the casino owner. Come to find out, of course, things aren't as easy as they seem. The granddaughter took the shampoo, but not her mini. She left in a rush, and it seems like Dex is getting in a little over her head as she's looking for the granddaughter. She sort of gets in the mix with a crime lord. Yeah, who's also looking for the granddaughter. Things get a little crazy. And you meet the more annoying version of Jesse and James from Pokemon. Their names are Oscar and Isabel, and every time they appeared in a panel, I wanted to yell at them to shut up, so shout out for wholly annoying characters. And I think that was mostly their point. You weren't really supposed to like them, so points for that. And also points for a dynamic female character who didn't spend basically any of the book trying to get with anybody. That wasn't her main arc. I mean, she flirts with the doctor a little bit, but like, same. And also there was good queer representation and also people of color in a Portland-based comic, which is great. But I think a draw of this comic as well is that you get to see and read about places that you're familiar with if you're from Portland. And I've been here all of 5 seconds. And to anybody at home who might be like, well, Destiny, you've been in Portland for half a year and you still don't know some of these iconic places, to that I say, I never leave my house. So, you know, that answers that. And so I think there was a lack of connection for me from that standpoint, and that being said, I still enjoyed the comic, so I think that's to its credit, if you care about my opinion. And you're here watching this, so you probably do. Maybe a little. I really appreciate it. This comic kind of could have occurred in any city to me, but like I said, I still enjoyed it, so I think that that is promising. I did happen to notice that the people of color who appeared in this book, well, the casino owner appears to be Native American, but the crime lord is also one of the only other people of color in this book, which, as a friend of mine said, is a big yikes for Portland, because Portland has a pretty racist past. I don't know if you know, there's like this, there are many articles that you can read about it. I feel weird bringing this up because do I think it was intentional? No. Do I think it was malicious? Absolutely not. Do I think it was written into stereotype and like gross? No, but I do kind of think it's worth mentioning, and I think it's because I'm still basically a tourist here in Portland. So I'm reading things about Portland from an outsider point of view and also a news point of view. So, you know, when I Googled Portland before I moved here, I read all these articles about that kind of stuff, so it weighs on my mind. It's probably not even something that anybody else would notice. And I don't think it's a discredit to the book. And I do think it's worth mentioning as we sort of look forward in the future of comics and talk about representation and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make a quick note about it. I'm really sorry. I know people really love this comic and I don't want you to come for me for it, but I talked to some people and they said I should probably mention something about it. Ugh. And at the end of Volume 1, this sort of whodunit kind of comes to a close. It leaves it open that you may see more trouble from this antagonist later on down the road, and it really made me want to pick up Volume 2, because I was really endeared to Dex and her take no crap attitude. She's kind of like Jessica Jones without the powers. You can see that she's sort of deeply flawed, but she's okay with that, and you should be too. And she's really just trying her best, and I can appreciate a lady who's just trying her best. You know, she comes across as very human. She really cares about what she does, and she really cares about the people around her, even though she's super tough. And I think that dichotomy written in a dynamic female character is really, really great to see. So as you may know, this comic is getting the TV show treatment. It is going to air this fall on ABC. Kobe Smulders is tapped to play Dex, which is really exciting. I love her, I think she's great. And also, if you look at the IMDb, it looks like there's a ton of representation in this show, and I think that that's awesome. And I'm making a note of that because I, of course, noted earlier something that was maybe not great about the representation, and I think kudos are due where they are due. I'm really excited to watch this show, and I'm really excited that a comic that isn't a Marvel or a DC is getting a TV show treatment. So hopefully more people will want to read the comic because I really enjoyed it. I will continue to read this comic, like really. I know I say that sometimes, and then sometimes I don't actually end up reading them, but I'm really interested in what the second whodunit might be, which would theoretically be in Volume 2. I also really enjoyed this comic aesthetically because there are swaths of color on these 2-page spreads that are just so beautiful and evocative of emotion, and I really, really enjoyed that as well. So it was a treat for the eyes and a treat for the brain, which you can't really ask for much more when you're looking at a comic now, can you? The show shot mostly in Vancouver, British Columbia, but it did have some shoots here in Portland, so I'm sure when the show comes on the TV, we will see some familiar places, and maybe even my tourist brain will pick up on it. A real-life place that didn't make a cameo in the book was Floating World Comics, which is where I get all of my comics. I got this comic there. Everyone there is so nice and so helpful. They can help you find a comic that you should be reading, but you're not. I don't know why. Go talk to them. Tell them I said hello. And I'm sorry. I feel like people are going to be disappointed in me because I sounded kind of lukewarm on this comic, but I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to other people, and I think that says a lot because I really, truly do have a hard time consuming crime media that isn't like true crime. So, you know, it's just one gal's opinion. Don't do the I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed voice at me. I'll cry. That being said, recommend me some books. I'll try and be more than lukewarm about them. I am excited to hear your recommendations about what you're reading and what you're loving and what I should be reading, because I want this to be an open conversation here on this YouTube channel and stuff. And that's really all I have for you this week. I will see you next week, same-ish time, same place. You know where to find me. And until then, this has been KDW's Comic Pick of the Week. I'm changing my channel from comics to throat clearing ASMR. Hope you join me for this crazy ride.